Hi again, it's Sifiso from Bulembe Farm, and today I'm going to be talking about the 7 important ways for the safe administration of medication for your livestock. Now, what I'm going to be talking about today is going to cover not just your goats, but also some of it is going to be relevant to your cattle and your sheep. So, first of all, number one, it's very important that you check that the medication is the correct medication that you are holding in your hand. I say this because some of the medication labels look very similar. So it's very easy to make mistakes, especially if you are not familiar with the medication. I'll give you an example. These 2 bottles, I'm sure you would agree that they look very similar, but they do absolutely different things. They treat different conditions. Number two, it's important that you check the route in which you are supposed to administer the medication. Is it meant to be given orally? Is it meant to be administered topically, meaning it's on the animal's skin? Is it by injection? If it's by injection, you also need to check and be sure that you understand how or which size injection you need to give, or which part of the body, or which route, or which way. For example, some medications will instruct you to give intramuscularly, others will instruct you to give subcutaneously, others will tell you to give intravenously. But we are not going to talk about intravenous medication because that requires a special skill and a special way, experience, and so on to administer injections intravenously. So please don't try this at home. Get a professional to do it if you need to administer intravenously, or get someone who's got the experience of administering injections intravenously. Thirdly, you need to check the expiry date. You do not want to give your animals medication which has expired. And number four, you need to check the withdrawal period for the medication, because you do not want to slaughter or drink milk within within the period of withdrawal. You need to consume milk or meat after the withdrawal period. I must apologize, being at the farm and so on, flies, they're very irritating, but never mind. Let's carry on. We are farmers. Number five, check if the medication is safe to administer to either pregnant or lactating animals. By lactating animals, we mean that the animals are breastfeeding. Some medications may dry up the milk, so please do check. And if the medication is silent on whether it's safe or not for lactating or pregnant animals, please check with your vet or your vet advisor or your Agri-Tex officer in the case of ZEM. Number six, you need to check the dose against the weight of the animal. Most medications, the majority of medications, they will tell you give so many mils for so many kgs. It's very, very important to give the correct dose. Number seven, you need to wear protective clothing, popularly known as PPE, when working with sick animals or when working with medication. Please ensure that you or your staff, you wear gloves, and in certain instances you may need a mask, and in other instances you may actually need goggles so that the medication doesn't splash into your eyes. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to talk about various medications that are vital and you need to always have at your farm. Right. So we're going to start off with the medications commonly known as dips. We call them dips here in Zim. I don't know what you call them in other In other countries, we call them dips here, and it is labeled dip. So for us, our most appropriate dip in terms of efficacy as well as value for money, this is our go-to dip. It gives us 15 dippings, and it costs around about maybe $80, but it's possible to get it even cheaper than that. So we get 15 dippings, meaning it can give us almost 3 months of dippings if we are dipping once a week, and we are using 1,000 liters. So we use this for dipping our goats in the plunge dip, and it's very, very effective. And it's a green label. I should really be wearing gloves, maybe. Right. Do as I tell you, not as I do. Okay. The next favorite dip is this one. We find that this also is quite effective. Please note, this is a purple label, meaning it's very, very toxic, and PPE is not negotiable. It's a must. Another alternative is this one. This is the trademark name is the trade name is Deadline, but but the common name or description is that it's a pour on. This one you do not need to dilute with water, but you pour it on directly onto the top line of the animal, onto the back of the animal. So again, you need to understand the doses for this one, because if you put too much, you might actually injure your animal. It will leave them with like a scalding, like they've had hot water poured on their skin. So caution with this one, but it's very effective, and some farmers use it for like during the rainy season. They feel it's better to administer this one during the rainy season, a pour on. But I don't know. Don't take my word for it. Do your own research. But I've heard some farmers swear by pour ons during the rainy season. And here is another one. Always check the labels and make sure you look at the what do you call it? Maybe the main ingredient. Especially if you need to change your dip and you think, maybe we've got resistance here. Please always read the label. And the dosages vary from brand to brand, medication to medication. Just because you've used a dip 3 months ago, which said 1 ml per 10 ml, it doesn't mean to say that your next one will be the same. Please encourage your staff to always read the label. Okay, so these dips are for controlling what we call external parasites. These are your ticks, your lice, and this one also we like it because it covers a whole range of other external pesticides, not just the ticks. It says it kills ticks, biting and sucking lice, scab mites, mange mites, biting and nuisance flies, and protects against worm infestation in cattle, sheep, and goats. So it's quite a broad spectrum. So that's why we like it, but it does have its drawbacks in terms that it's quite toxic. So we have to be careful with its use, especially contact with humans, obviously. Okay, so we've dealt with medication for the control of external parasites. The next group of medications is the one that helps us with the internal parasites. These are our worms, different types of worms. Here, I've got ivermectin injection, and I've got um, two dewormers. Sometimes we refer to them as dosing, or I don't know what they call them, dosers, but we often say, oh, dosing. Have you dosed? Are you going to dose? And so on. Excuse me, this fly is really irritating me, but never mind. I'm a farmer. I can live with flies. So, right. Um, One thing about dewormers, again, similarly to the dips, the risk of resistance is quite high and is quite problematic for a number of farmers. Again, read the label, because you could have two bottles and you think, oh, maybe they do different jobs. No, please do check, especially if you're wanting to change from one dewormer to the other. Just read the label to make sure that you are killing the correct worms. And if you suspect resistance, just make sure that the next um, type of dewormer that you are selecting is going to maybe work better if it's a different kind of main ingredient. So please do read. Again, do check the dose, do check the weight of the animal. It's very important. And again, the rainy season presents us with lots and lots of challenges, including flies. There are medications actually for flies. This one, it's an ivermectin, but there's all sorts of brands out there. And this one is called Ashiva. It's a brand name, but basically the main ingredient is ivermectin. Now, this one will control both internal and external parasites. So it's a good one, I reckon, for the rainy season, because you want to control both. Sometimes farmers worry about uh, the topical dip or the external dip being washed away during the rainy season. You spray dip your cows, or you plunge dip your cows, you let them out, and within an hour it's pouring down with rain. So farmers do worry that sometimes it means that the dip might not be that effective. But I think this will give you additional cover because it's an injectable and it deals with both internal and external parasites. Main ingredient, remember, is ivermectin. Okay. The next group of medications that I want to talk about is the antibiotics. Okay. Yeah. Right. This is Intertrim. It's a trimethoprim, right? And you find that it treats the same things that this one would treat. This is an oxytetracycline. And if you read the label, you'll find that it does treat similar conditions as the trimethoprim. So you just need to be careful and attentive in selecting your medication. Thinking, sometimes you buy something, you think you're buying different things. Sometimes you could be buying similar things called by different names. So please do read and check for the main ingredient. As I said, this is an antibiotic. It's trimethoprim. This is also an antibiotic. It's an oxytetracycline. And this one, uh, the the brand name is Penstrep, but basically this is a penicillin. So do bear that in mind. Right. The next group of medications that I'm going to talk about is your antiseptics. These are very useful for when you are cleaning wounds or abscesses in your animals, goats, sheep, cattle. Iodine is a popular one, or betadine in Zim, sometimes we call it that. Povidone even. So we also use this during our kidding season. We dip the navel in this one. But if you don't have this during your kidding season, ordinary methylated spirits will do the trick for your navel dipping to prevent your kid getting bacteria through the navel immediately after birth. The next group of medications that I'm going to talk about is the anti-inflammatory medications. We normally use this, obviously, as the word suggests, inflammation, to reduce swelling, inflammation, pain. So this one is called Phenylject. In some countries, they pronounce it as Phenylject. I think the J is silent. And we also have glucotin, and the main ingredient here in the glucotin is dexamethasone. So you can actually buy a drug labeled dexamethasone, and that will help with reducing pain, inflammation, swelling, and so on in your animal. This here is a vaccine. People often mistake general medications for vaccines. This is a vaccine, and the key thing about vaccines, this is just one example of a vaccine. The key thing is that vaccines must be kept under a certain temperature at all times. You have to maintain the cold chain. So when you buy the vaccine from town, do make sure that it retains the recommended temperature and it doesn't get warmed up. In fact, most medications are, but they tend to give us a higher temperature rate compared to the vaccine. So the vaccine, you must keep it at the correct temperature, keep it cold. Let's see, between store in cool place between 2 degrees and 8 degrees. Do not freeze, protect from light. Very important. When I was talking about antiseptics, I almost forgot this one. Copper sulfate, and this is also good as a foot bath, especially during the rainy season. You want to protect your animals' hooves because they're very vulnerable to wounds and infections during the rainy seasons, especially cattle and goats. So you can put this in their foot bath, and they step into this every day. Okay, I think we've covered all the medications. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about the essential equipment or aids to help you administer the medication or to help you keep your animals healthy. So we talked about medications being administered via injection. So you need to have different sizes of syringes. Disposable or reusable syringes is absolutely fine, but these are disposable. So you have your 2 ml syringes, which are very good for administering vaccines, because vaccines are usually 1 ml or 2 ml per animal. You have your 5 ml and your 10 ml syringe. 20 ml syringe are suitable for use in cattle, but also for the oral deworming of animals. It's a little bit too big for goats, but we do use it for also deworming cattle. Sometimes we call it drenching. So, this can hold up to 20 mils. So it makes it easier to work. But the best one is an automated one, or a dosing gun that can just draw the medication straight. Let's say if you're dosing quite a lot of animals, 100 or so animals from a 5 liter, you are best off working with an automated dosing gun or drenching gun or syringe, not a gun to shoot and kill. No, not that one. So yes, if you can have that, but if you don't have an automated syringe or dosing gun, that doesn't mean that you mustn't deworm your animals. Your 20 ml syringe will still work. Right. Next is your needles. Needles, they come in different sizes. I usually, they come in gauge sizes. So, for example, when I buy or when I teach my staff and I want them to use a particular size needle rather than go, oh, you need 18 gauge and what. Sometimes it can be very complicated for staff. But I just go, oh, what's the size? Even my eyesight is so bad sometimes. But I just go, I just tell them, or use the yellow needle, or use the pink needle, use the short needle. These ones, these are disposable needles, and these are reusable needles. And I would encourage you And you need to clean these. It's non-negotiable. They have to be cleaned in hot water or using the antiseptic. You can wash them in water mixed in with copper sulfate, or methylated spirits would work very well. But these, this whole box has got different size needles, long, short, thick, for use for goats, for use for cattle, for use for vaccinations. That's your short needle. Or for subcutaneous, again, it's a short needle. You've got it all here in this packet. Right. What do we have next? Just to help us look after our animals. Before I move on to the ear tags or tags, thermometer. It's very important to keep a thermometer in your medication box. For your goats, a temperature of up to 38 degrees Celsius is perfectly okay. That's their normal temperature, 38 degrees Celsius. But anything, say 39, 40, then you know your animal is not well, and you need to give it treatment, most likely antibiotics, because that's usually an indication of an infection. Right. These are the ear tags. This size we use these ones mostly for cattle. This helps you to keep track of your animals. You can put any kind of information that can help you to track. We normally put the tag name, which identifies the individual animal, and it also tells us, the way we write on our tags, we put information of when the animal was born, and sometimes at the back we even add the mother's number or the father's number, whatever information we want, we put on a tag for ease of identification, so that when we are working with the animals in the pens, we are not having to take the register in order to know some of the basic information that we need, like, who's the mother, when was it born. We just want to look at the tag, and it tells us that kind of information. That's how we record our tags. But you can use whatever system works for you. But most importantly, with tags, please note the brand names. This is Allflex, right? This is an Allflex brand, which means you need to use it with the Allflex tag applicator. Please, please. I once made this expensive mistake when I bought Allflex ear tags, and at the farm I had an Aussie tag. Let me show you. These are the Aussie tags. They have their own tag applicator, which I do not have to hand. But please just check when you are buying tags that they match the tag applicator that you have at the farm. Don't make those expensive mistakes, which I made in my early days of farming. But another thing that you need is the applicator when you are castrating your kids or your lambs or your calves with an elastic band. You need this kind of implement. Okay, so I hope you found this useful. Please remember to like this video and subscribe to our channel. And just to conclude on this session is that if you are not sure of what medication to administer to your animals, to always consult your vet. And also, please make sure your staff are trained and they always read the label on the bottle. Have a good day.